There are a ton of complexities in Anno 117 Pax Romana. From trade, production lines, warfare, establishing a patron god, going through the research tree, there's just so much to manage. But in this video today, I want to talk about how it all boils down to one thing. And in my typical fashion of upfronting the knowledge in my videos, let me just say it all up front. Anno is entirely focused around needs. The individual consumer needs of all of your various tiers of population or workforce is all that matters in this game. It feeds into literally every system. If you're having income issues, then create more houses. Those houses have needs, and by meeting those needs with consumer goods, they create revenue right back to you. Further, by establishing production lines for each of those needs across all of the tiers of your pops, you'll then create a surplus of goods. This surplus is easily tradable to the neutral trader on the map, any governor you have a treaty with, and the Emperor's representative for massive monetary gain. You can amplify the effects of all these needs by producing area of effect buildings to further give you bonuses to income, prestige, religion, knowledge, or what have you. And you can place specialists in your government buildings to ramp up the aforementioned list of benefits. There are two pitfalls you need to keep in mind though. Making sure you don't have an issue in your production line where supply isn't meeting demand or vice versa, and that you mitigate all the penalties of any area of effect building that is, say, reducing fire safety or health with the appropriate buildings that would mitigate that. If you do that, then any city you make in Anno will be a winning city. But that's too long didn't watch this entire video. I'll be going further into details and concrete examples of how this all comes together, but that's all you wanted to know. Please feel free to shut the video down. I want to be respectful of your time. You can navigate to any part of the video that interests you the most using the chapters about the timeline in the description. And if you are heading out and you found the information in this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those helps me out in a huge way. Lastly, you can find a link to my Twitch where I stream every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. But let's get started on the one thing you need to know to master Anno 117 Pax Romana. So needs, we talked about that, right? In the intro, that's all this game really comes down to. And let's kind of break this open. This is one of my cities in Albion, and Albion is a little bit more advanced, not by much, but it does require a little bit more, I guess you'd say, thought when it comes to building out your city. And I've got plenty of different pops at the bottom here, all with different needs. And you've seen these. I mean, these are things that you are right in the very beginning of the game. They're very easy to identify. You've got these set of needs. Now, it's not just simply meeting these needs, but also realizing how these needs are going to connect to so many other facets of the game. And it's really the entire driving force of everything. So we're going to take a look over here at this waiter residence. And this is the very first for the Albion region, right? This is our very first resident. Otherwise, you'd be looking at Libertai if you're taking a look at Rome or Latium. And with these three, we have our food, our public service, and our fashion. That is it. And that gets expanded, right? As we jump into more complex residents, we're going to deal with even more stuff, right? Like, look at all of these. Now we have marvels we have to satisfy, but we also have household, but we're still satisfying fashion, public services, and food. It just gets expanded from tier to tier. And it's pretty easy to satisfy these needs, right? Like, okay, hey, we just need a market in range, and we just need a bardic hearth in range, and we're good to go. This bar turns white. We have locked in. Now, what's the difference though between this bar and this bar? It's the supply. As this bar proceeds to hit that complete white over the green, it's telling me that my perfect supply is locked in. And that percentage will be based off of the number of needs in this category. So for example, here, there are two needs that are required. Well, I'm sorry, there's one need that's required, but two to really amp this up. And that's why it says perfect supply 200%. And then we see down here, we're kind of waning with our tunics a little bit, right? They're in good supply, and our reed shoes are in low supply. So while needs are the biggest thing, I think it's very easy to fall into the mental trap of just going, cool, I made a reed house. Not a reed house, a shoe weaver. It's right there. I'm good to go. Nay. So let's now talk about how these needs are going to expand as you expand. So here's our shoe weaver we were just talking about, right? And I don't know, I'm sure someone knows some really cool math number for this, but like one production house of shoe weaving can satisfy X amount of residents. I'm sure that's also somewhere in here, and I just am not 100% sure. But we have one shoe weaver. If we take a look over here, I hover over my workforce, I have quite a lot of waiters, right? 235 total population of them, with 56 right now just available to do whatever. So I now, just by kind of taking a look at clicking on one of these guys, I know, hey, we're pretty low in supply of reed shoes and our tunics are kind of waning. So this is what I mean, right? Like we're trying to drive all these things home. So that means we're going to come over here into the production tab. And this is where we can see a lot of that. If I take a look at the tunics, what you really want to look at is, yes, it's easy to get lost here. It's easy to get lost here. But look at this, sort by consumption / production T, I think it's called like tenum or something, talentum, a minute. If I sort by this, I can see right now, just by looking at this, malt and tin are not produced on this island. So this is a little bit of a misnomer for me. But if I look at this, I am underproducing charcoal, or something is not quite right here, or iron ore, I have 1 demand with 4 potential. What's going on here? These tell me things that I need to satisfy. And right here, right? Reed shoes, hemp farms, and well, tunics are down here, are all things I need to take a look at because I'm not producing enough hemp to meet the demand, supply and demand. Those are the 2 things I'm looking at right there in that situation. Or this reed shoe, I have enough potential and I have enough supply and enough demand. But here's the thing. Sometimes your demand outweighs what you can produce. So that's why this is important right here, this number right there. So right now I'm seeing that we're producing, but we're not quite making enough reed shoes to satisfy our population, our needs, as it were, right? So use this production screen to give you an idea, to give you some clarity on what the hell's going on with your pops, rather than just going, all right, let me click around, what green bars are not around. This is going to give you all the information you need. You can switch it over to consumer goods if you just want to see the direct things that are going into your pops, right? Because your pops don't consume raw materials. They don't consume this. They consume the consumer good. So this gives you a direct representation of like, hey, you know, that's at a -1. This is at 0. This is at 0. When it's at 0, you're fine. But I like to try to keep these in the +1 because then that means I can build a surplus to then sell. So, I mean, I'm producing a lot of these things down here, down here, sorry. But okay, I'm not really producing enough clan shields to make a surplus, or drinking horns or cheese. And that could be an issue with the raw material. It could be with a construction material, agricultural good, an intermediate good, something along the line. So I need to check the chain for that. Again, this is another example though of like, this isn't being produced on my island, so I'm ignoring this. This is being produced on another island and in like a hellish quantity from what I remember. Yeah, I've got like ass tons of malt, so I'm not really worried about that. So just I think it's really easy to go, cool, I've built the one reed house that I need and I'm good to go. No, you need to build more because your population's going to expand. Because what is the most important thing of all of this is the income that these needs generate. So over here is my warehouse, and I've got a lot of things around this situation. And what is really important about needs is satisfying, you know, those consumer goods, right? And some consumer goods have 2 different attributes. We have the need attribute. This kind of goes back to the very beginning of the video. Why are needs so important? Because they drive income and other things. But income is the biggest thing that you need from needs, right? So this spinner here is going to give me 2 income just by placing it. It doesn't matter where it is on the map. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter where it is on the island because it's going to pull those tunics from this warehouse. Right now, I can see I have a stable amount of tunics, what have you. But I also have the secondary effect of an area of effect. And what this means is, if I click it, anything with these up arrows is going to produce more income for me, which is great. And if you click it too, you can see, hey, I've already got one here. I've already got one here. But, you know, I think now it's time for me to let's take a look over here on the far right side. We see income and knowledge. And this is another part of what I'm going to get to with these area of effect buildings. 40 affected buildings. Great. Okay, cool. Let's just bop this bad bitch all over the place. You know what? It's looking like this is going to be the one right here. So we'll do that. We've got a road already connecting it. And there we go. So now we're going to that's going to satisfy what is the beginning of a waning amount of tunics. We're starting to run out of them, but we're also going to start running out of a hemp. So we need to start supplying more hemp. This will start to get reflected. It needs time to ramp up. All these things, you can't just build them. So take a look here, right? We only have a potential 2 supply of hemp, but we now have a demand of 3, but 4. 3 as in we already have production of 3. That 4th one we just built. So that comes back to looking at the big puzzles of 1 minute to process hemp and 1 minute to make cloth. So we need 2 hemp farms somewhere else on this island. I'm just going to pop them over here real quick for the video. It just bothers me already that who puts a farm next to a military district? You know what? Not someone who's thought it out. And I swear I'm not anal retentive about that at all in this game. Okay, so now that I've satisfied my need. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and put this down here like this. And down here. I'm just popping these down really fast. I mean, you can hold down shift and make them nice and neat if you so wish. So that is going to, oh, hey, my rice is done. You can hear that in the background. That is going to satisfy now the need for me not finding the hemp on this whole entire screen. So hemp now has a potential of 4 supply, and we have a demand of 4 that we can now start to satisfy. We're going to produce 2 extra units of hemp, which are now going to start to get used by our clothier here, because we've got plenty of extra to satisfy the demand. So we can even start to sell some hemp. And this is how this need kind of comes together. But further, what you should know though, after assigning all that, is how these area of effect buildings can really start to kind of be dangerous. And let me show you that. So let me show you the kind of, well, let me figure out, where is this? Is this not in range of anything? Hey, it should be in range of that. Yeah, he's gonna go get it. So what is the negative side effect of all this? And the negative effect is that sometimes these area of effect buildings are not your friend. And there's a bit of a trap attached to all of them in that, well, sorry, more of the advanced ones, because as you start to use the advanced ones, you're going to start to use a byproduct that will produce fire, and that is charcoal. Well, to begin with. And you can see if I hover over here, I have an island fire safety that I have to deal with. And this plays into the needs thing, right? Like, we're satisfying the needs of everything we need to do. We are satisfying the production line that is required to make that specific consumer good, that need to satisfy our populations, to then grow them, to then get more money, and then get more everything else. So looking at this though, we have a massive penalty of minus 433 up to, we have an incident threat of a significant fire, which will go up to 10 buildings. And we have a frequency of when that could possibly happen. If I were to delete just one of my fire safety buildings, this will jump to possibly being an inferno. I think at negative 500, it's an inferno. And that's not fun. So this is how A, we combat that, and B, we identify it. So let's click over here. Let's see. These are needs attributes. Okay, I think it was this one. Yeah, okay, perfect. So the wire twister here has need attribute of income and prestige. Oh man, yeah, give me that sweet, sweet goodness. Area of effect, even more prestige. Great, we're getting 3 prestige and 2 income for every residence that this thing touches. But we're also getting a multiplicative penalty of fire safety. Multiplicative meaning if I have 10 buildings that this thing touches, then that -2 multiplies into 10 to become -20, right? Yeah, I had to stop for a second. I was like, I could do basic math. Where are my teddy bears to count with? But the wire twister here is a great example of something that can be a trap. And not all of them are like that, right? Like, not all of them that produce a negative effect like that are like that, is what I meant. I'm looking at the wrong one. The bakery is a pretty good example here. This has got just so much income that it's worth the fire safety risk here, right? I think this one is, this one though, it's like, okay, this has got population, it's got income, and then it's got fire safety. So you have to start weighing these things. You don't want to just keep stacking a bakery and an earth oven and a wire twister. Yeah, twister altogether. Like here's an example. This thing is smack dab over here. It's producing, I'm going to hover over this right now. It's touching 62 buildings. So it's getting me a lot of prestige, right? I'm getting 124 total prestige from this, but I'm getting that exact same amount of fire safety penalty against me. And I can hover over fire safety to just see outright, right? By looking over it from area effects and specialties, if I look at the wire twister icon, it says -138. If I look at the beer icon, it's -252. So again, this comes down to, do I really, I like the income from this. That's pretty nice. But do I really need the prestige from this? Prestige, if you hover over here, what does it give us? It gives us the ability to help out when it comes to any kind of diplomacy, and we can use prestige to get a certain threshold to then unlock more specialist slots in our specialist buildings. So you can produce more prestige by just putting down more ornaments. So maybe I kind of mitigate this. Maybe I go, you know what? Maybe this isn't worth the massive penalty to fire safety. Let's just put it over here for now. I'm just going to drop it somewhere for the video. So we're at -440. I'm going to put it down. We just dropped to -392. Our income, or I'm sorry, our prestige took a hit, right? We were at, I don't even remember what the prestige number. Oh, oops. Our prestige took a hit. We were at whatever number we were at, but it is what it is. So you kind of have to weigh and not fall into a trap of going, income goes here. Okay, income, it goes in here. And you can do it, because that's the other thing. That's the other edge of this coin, is that you can mitigate fire safety by doing stuff like the Vigilance City Watch, +2 fire safety for every area of effect. That's going to mitigate all of that area of, so that's an exact mitigation, right? If I were to build this right next to this, almost every single building it touched, I would then touch with this. If I just were simply to put that over here, I know we can't place it, but oh, we already have one over there, so it doesn't give us an actual effect thing. But if I do that, yeah. And so this is only going to affect 9 buildings because I have 2, one right here and one right here. But my point is, if you stack those buildings, basically, if you kind of make like a fire district almost, right? You make a city watch down of this unit, and then you produce all these fire safety things around it. You can try to help mitigate those things, but there's other ways to mitigate that as well, and also ways to increase the, I guess, abundance of your of your needs. And that is our specialists. Specialists are pretty crucial to increasing the kind of follow through of everything that you're doing with your needs, or again, mitigating some of those dangers. We didn't talk about it a lot, but religion is a big portion of satisfying needs, because, like, say, if you use Epona, you have increased production of a lot of the things you're going to be dealing with in Albion. Cernanos is a really good example, another really good example as well, because this is a lot of what you're going to be dealing with in Albion. But further, if I were just to look at series here, this is just everything, right? Bread and porridge and wine and beer and olive oil. That is going to just ramp up our population. That increase of production is more stock for us to sell, and that increase of population is more income back into us by satisfying those needs. Those needs then satisfy the devotion, because we usually have those buildings, those area of effect buildings, like this one right here, placed around our city to get the most advantage of it. But this is a section about specialists, and specialists can amplify all of that, right? So let's take a look at this guy right here. Markets in range, 1.5 area of income area effect. So the market, which would normally generate 1 income, now generates 2.5. That's huge. And a market is a necessary need for all of my pops. This guy right here, all residents in range give a 1.2 income. So everything that's in this circle is giving us an additional 1.2 income. This one is going to be giving us an additional 1.2 to belief. This guy over here, belief area of effect of sanctuaries and phantoms is increased, and the knowledge area effect, as well as upkeep reduction. You just make sure though that you read, okay, belief 1.2, sick. Oh man, 1.5 belief area effect. Just make sure you read the line right above it so that you know what this thing applies to. Like, you might get lost in the weeds here and go, cool, I get 1.5 for all residences. Nay, that is this guy. This is strictly for markets. And you go and buy these. Here's another guy right here, the roasted roustabout, which can help out with my fire safety, right? We've already established that fire safety is one of the biggest issues I'm dealing with right now. We've got -387. Let's go ahead and transfer this guy in. We'll go over to our specialist building, and we'll go ahead and drop him in. The negative 387. Now it is down to negative 232. So that's a positive 156 of fire safety brought into us via specialists. So you can amplify and mitigate all those area effects for all the needs that you've got. Let me just quickly show you where to buy specialists. You can get them through quests, through missions, through all sorts of stuff. You can come to any of these cities and do contracts. You can see this guy will reward us with the impeller over here. I can come down to the neutral trading post, and I can do contracts over here as well if they have any. But mainly we want to click over here onto their trader and then click on items. We'll be able to see their stock of specialists. Like, let's pause real quick so that this doesn't refresh in the middle of talking about it. This says happiness and towers in range are going to increase all of these things. We have SBQR here. Senatus Populus Quod Roma. Income from sausages, as one would hope. You have all these beneficial specialists over here. The Emperor's representative, click on theirs. They also will have a stock of specialists you can take advantage of. And some are military specialists that you would use in, well, of course, military situations. And lastly, any of the NPC governors, they will have that stock of specialists and also things. And you can tap into it. You just have to have a trade right treaty established. And the last thing these needs do, as it pertains back to income, is they produce extra or surplus goods. So when I click over, click on this bad boy. I've got tons of timber I can sell because we've been overproducing it. I've got tons of oxen I can take advantage of. But kind of take a look further down your pipeline, right? Like, yeah, I've got a 95 surplus of ox, but it seems stable. We're not really tapping into it too hard. If this was a down arrow, like this one is right here, I can see we're tapping into it. And this is a green arrow like this, I can see, oh, I've got such a surplus. I can sell beer. I've got so much beer I can sell. It's coming out my ass, almost literally. I've got too much iron ore. We're not producing enough because our weapons, we need to go ahead and make another armor smith or another weaponsmith, or even just go ahead and produce an armor smith, which you get to through technology. It's like printing money, this thing over here. Right there, that guy. So you get all these extra surplus goods. Then you establish trade routes, just like this. So for example here, I have a pretty elaborate trade route set up over here. So from my parent island, I'm going to take the weapons whatever weapons I have with a max of 30, I'm going to bring them to my next island, keep those on my boat, pick up timber and reeds because I have such an excess there, and then bring them over to the representative and sell them for whatever I can get. And that should be represented in here. Trade estimation, there was a spot, trade ships minus 35, income. Well, I thought there was a way to actually see directly what that route is making, but every time they come over here, they'll tap into this because the Emperor's representative has this little guy right here. Trader will buy anything you have to offer, and they'll just pretty much pay the base market rate. You can find that base market rate by clicking on any kind of warehouse, anywhere you can see any good, and hover over it. At the very bottom, you'll see purchase price and selling price. And that's pretty much what he'll buy and sell them for because it's not a desired good. Now you can specifically spot sell those things to specific people, but you just need to establish more treaties. But this is how needs are the most important thing in Anno 117. And I think you know that, right? You know that, like, oh, okay, I have to satisfy these needs. But I think the trap is you only build one clothier. You only build one production building. And then you forget that as you increase in population, you need to satisfy that more and more. And if you start to actually get into the military side of things, you need an even more and a disgusting amount of population. Like, take a look over here. To make this guy, the maintenance cost is 44 of the base population. So I really need to ramp that up. So this gives you a sense that you can't just simply satisfy the needs once. You're going to satisfy the needs multiple times, and you're going to produce so much, and you're going to have some islands that are locked in only to producing, that will allow you to have surpluses to sell to build income. And as long as you navigate the penalties that you're going to generate from all those area effect buildings, you are going to have a very successful city. But if you have any tips, you're a Anno veteran, anything like that, let it be known in the comment section below. Always happy to disseminate as much as much information out to the people as I can. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.